When I visited Miss Havisham the next day, I was sorry that Estella was not there. Miss Sarah Pocket opened the door for me.
What do you want? I hope you don't want anything from me, because you will get nothing.
I don't want anything. I have come to say thank you for my apprenticeship.
Well, from now on, come to see me once a year, on your birthday.
Okay, I promise.
You are looking for Estella, aren't you? She has gone away for her education and she will become a lady. Do you feel that you have lost her, Pip?
She laughed, and I did not know what to say. Then she asked me to leave, so I set off for home. On the way, I met Mr. Wopsle, one of the guests from that Christmas dinner a few years ago, and we walked together. It was getting darker now. In the mist, a man came slowly towards us, and we realized it was Orlick. He told us that some more convicts had escaped from the prison ship, and he seemed to act strangely as he walked with us along the road back. On my return to the house, I was surprised to find a crowd of people in the kitchen. While Joe had been out that evening, someone had broken into our house and they had hit Mrs. Joe on the head, injuring her badly. Nothing had been taken, but a convict's leg irons lay on the floor. I immediately remembered the convict who I had helped 2 years before in the graveyard. However, I felt sure that the person who committed the crime was not him. I suspected Orlick because he had been so angry with my sister. However, I had no proof. Mrs. Joe was unable to speak or walk again after the attack, but she could draw, and one day, she drew a hammer. Biddy and I knew at once that the hammer meant the blacksmith's hammer, which meant Orlick. When Mrs. Joe was able to sit in the kitchen again, we could see that she was scared of him. Mrs. Joe could not hurt me now, and because Joe needed help in the house, Biddy came to cook and clean for us. At last, my life was improving. Some years passed, and I continued my apprenticeship at the blacksmith's. My visits to Miss Havisham's house continued once a year. It seemed as though time, like her old clocks, had stopped there. I did not see Estella again during that time, although I often thought of her. And when it was time to leave, Miss Havisham always gave me a coin and told me to come back on my next birthday. Biddy soon became an important member in our household. She looked after everything well, and also cared for my sister. Mrs. Joe could no longer walk or speak, and now I felt sorry for her. As the weeks became months, and the months became years, I also saw how kind and good Biddy was. Biddy, I want to become a fine gentleman.
But don't you think you are happier as you are, Pip?
No, Biddy, I will never be happy unless I can lead a different life to the one I live now. I don't want to be just a blacksmith. Ever since I met Estella at Miss Havisham's, I have wanted to improve myself. She is so beautiful and clever, and I admire her very much.
Do you want to become a gentleman to upset her, or to marry her? If you want to upset her, then you shouldn't care what she thinks. If you want to marry her, she probably isn't worth the effort.
That may be true, but I still admire Estella so much. I knew that I was making a mistake, but I could not change my feelings. Biddy told me then that she was glad I could talk to her, and said she would never tell anyone else. I will always tell you everything, Biddy.
Until you're a fine gentleman.
It seemed impossible that my wish to become a gentleman would come true. But one evening, while Joe and I were at the village inn, listening to Mr. Wopsle reading aloud from a newspaper, I noticed that a stranger was looking at us. Then I remembered him. He was the gentleman I had met on the stairs at Miss Havisham's house, years before. Is your apprentice, Pip, here? I need to speak privately to you both. He sounded like an important man, so we invited him to come back to the workshop with us. Once there, he said he was Mr. Jaggers, a lawyer from London. I am working for someone, but I cannot tell you their name. I have to tell you that Pip has great expectations. He will receive a large amount of property in future, so now he must have an education. The only condition is that he does not ask who his benefactor is. I have a large sum of money for you, and your education will begin soon in London, with Mr. Matthew Pocket. He will be your teacher, and he will make a gentleman of you. But first, take these £20 to buy some new clothes. When Joe was asked if he needed any money for losing me at the blacksmith's, he replied, Pip is welcome to go and find his fortune. Money makes no difference to my feelings for him. We will always be best friends. Joe was so good and kind, and really cared about me. When he and Biddy realized that I was to leave them in just a week, they both congratulated me, but they did not say much more than that. I knew that they were sad that I was leaving. My sister did not understand what was happening, although Biddy tried to explain everything to her. I decided that when I had bought my new clothes, I would put them on at Uncle Pumblecook's house. I don't want all the poor people in this village to see me in my fine clothes, I explained to Joe and Biddy. They were both silent. Uncle Pumblecook, however, was delighted. I will never forget you, Joe, I said, as I left the blacksmith's a week later. However, in truth, I had begun to feel more and more ashamed of Joe's poor education. When I said goodbye to Biddy, I asked if she could teach Joe to speak better, but to my surprise she refused. Suddenly, I felt lonelier than ever before.